6 Timer Strategies for Classroom Teachers from the Word Nerd. Hi, I'm Amanda Ziba. Welcome to my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. Today we're going to be talking about timers. I use timers in my classroom all the time, and today I'm going to give you 6 different ways that you can use them effectively. To put my money where my mouth is, I'm going to do this in 5 minutes. Are we ready? Here we go. So the first way that I use timers in my classroom is for work time. It's great to let students know how much time they have to accomplish a task, or if they're struggling with a task, to know how long they need to persist before they're able to get a break. But it's not just great for students, it's great for teachers too. Now, I can't be the only one guilty of this, but when you're in class and your students are working quietly, and then you hear your email ding, and you go over and check it, and then you get sucked in, and the next one, and the next one, and before you know it, 20 minutes have passed, and shoot, you only have 2 minutes left of class. You have to rush through your closure. You can't tell them the homework, and it's a disaster. Okay, so if you set a timer for work time, you're going to protect against your own evils as well. Another great way to use a timer during student work time is for conferencing. Sometimes I've gotten so deep into working with a student on a paper that I only get through conferencing with 1 or 2 students in a class period when I really needed to get through 7 or 8. If I use the timer, I'm able to make sure that I can get through as many students as I need to while giving them each their own focused and independent time. This happens a little bit less often, but it has happened to me where my students are working so quietly, which is so rare in middle school, and I just let them go because I don't want to interrupt it, but I really did have other things I wanted to cover. Using a timer helps you keep accountable to your lesson plans and getting done everything that you plan to get done. The second way that I use timers in classrooms is for transitions. I'll set the timer up on the board, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes, and say, all right, we're moving on to the next activity in 2 minutes. You need to get all of your supplies by the time the timer goes off. Or you need to get all your wigs out before we're ready to move on. Or find your partner, or blow your nose, or get a drink, or anything you need to do. We're moving on in 2 minutes. And it prevents that time from stretching on longer than you wanted to. The third way that I use timers in my classroom is for turn and talk. Again, this is an activity that can stretch on longer than you really intended it to, or longer than it's really purposeful for. So by putting a timer on the board, you let students know how much time they have to turn and talk with a partner or to share ideas in a small group before you're moving on as a group, as a whole class. If you're working on your speaking and listening strategy for the Common Core standards, a timer can also be helpful because not everybody likes to talk. Not all students have things to say. And by putting the timer on the board, you're reminding them, hey, you need to be conversing for this long. You need to have enough stuff to say to fill up this time slot. So it can be used to encourage length of chatting, not just necessarily to minimize length of chatting. The fourth strategy is a strategy I've used for timers, especially on virtual learning. Frequently in virtual learning, we'll say, all right, take a break and come back in 5 minutes. But is it really 5 minutes? Doesn't it often stretch to 7 or 10 or maybe 15? And it's hard because there's other distractions in their life that you necessarily can't control. But if we put a timer up, it's a visual reminder of like, hey, you have this long before you need to be back here and ready to go. The fifth strategy that I use is to require students to work for a certain amount of time independently before they're allowed to come and ask for help. So this is especially helpful when you are doing a new skill with your students and they just want your help to answer the question and they just want you to provide the answer. But no, you need them to try on their own. This is helping them foster independence and problem-solving skills. So I might put up the timer and say, you know what, you need to try for 3 minutes before you come and ask me. Or you need to try for 5 minutes and 2 of the strategies we talked about in class before you come and ask me a question. The sixth and final strategy that I have used for timing in the classroom is to do a mindfulness minute. Our lives are crazy. There's so much going on. And so to take simply 1 minute to do some deep breathing, to close our eyes, to put our head down on our desk, and just relax and disconnect can do so much for the mind and the soul, not only for your students, but for you as a teacher as well. So putting up the timer to just say, we're gonna do some deep breathing, we're gonna take a break, and when it's done, we'll come back reinvigorated and ready to learn. So I hope that these 6 strategies have been helpful for you. I want to let you know that down in the description box, I do have 2 timers, digital timers that you can use. One is a 60-second timer that you can use, and the other is a 30-minute timer that you can use for work time. Now, you wouldn't have to play the whole 30 minutes. You could start it at 20 minutes and work down from there, or 15 or 10, or whatever you need to use. So thank you for stopping by my channel, Learning with the Word Nerd. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you back again. And success! I made it before it came out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or not. We'll see you next time. Don't forget that links to these 60-second and 30-minute video timers are in the description box.